Damn, I'm back with some reaction videos, I guess. But not really. Xenoverse 3, I was actually curious about this, maybe because what people was talking about at DreamCon, talking about the game was, I guess, wasn't good. Then I saw people talking about, well, people that actually, I guess, that went to Bankai actually had more hands on with the game. And what I noticed that the game didn't look bad as people were saying in terms of gameplay. I guess of course. But let's react to the pros and cons about Xenoverse 3. SeeReax, I think I said his name right.
Concerns that I have for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. We're gonna do 7 of each because, you know, 7 Dragon Balls. So the basis of how—
Yeah, this is 30 minutes on. But you probably gonna do the pros and cons. That's it. Then I'll probably break it down.
this list is gonna work is we're gonna do a pro, then we're gonna do a con, and then we're gonna do like a concern, something that I would need more testing. I would need to see this in like people.
But like I said, I am kind of curious because let's be real, Xenoverse is mainly for, I want to say MMO, I guess you could say PvE at the end of the day. But I know there's a whole community that actually plays it for PvP. And so I'm finna get this cat out the way so don't mess up my videos. So give me 1 second. I swear, every time I record something or I go live,
PvP, basically a gray area as well. So almost like good, bad, and in between. We'll see. It could go either way. But I'm not going to waste more of your time. Let's start with the first pro, the boost dash mechanic. In my short experience with the demo, I found the boost dash mechanic to be a really cool addition. It makes combo extensions a little easy. Maybe some people are going to feel away because like maybe it feels too easy, but I had a lot of fun with it. It felt
like most anime fighting games to be realistic.
Good. I was a little concerned about it. I was like, is this just going to be like Fighter Super Dash, but in like a 3D arena fighter? But it felt very similar.
Fighters, dashy.
Similar to almost like, and not exactly the same, but I think Storm had a mechanic where like you could just dash directly at your opponent. Like, yes. I don't remember the exact input, but like
yes, I remember that.
You could press something to dash directly to your opponent and it would like hone in on them. And you could extend combos that way. So you could do a quick little knock up and then you'd click whatever that button is. I forgot. Sorry, I'm not a Storm.
I really want to see more gameplay because, like I said, it's the same gameplay. So I ain't really want to see more gameplay, I guess you could say. I'm glad you're doing it like this.
Right up to them, you could continue that combo. It felt like that, but obviously at the cost of your stamina and stuff like that. So for me, at least early impressions, again, I've only played the demo. If in the future this game comes out and we're like, boost chase is ass, don't hold my word to this. All of my opinions could change. But from my early experiences, I thought the boost chase was really cool. Now let's get to our first con. And yes, we're gonna do pro con in between, pro con in between. We're just gonna do it like that. My first con is flight. Flight felt really weird, okay? Being able to fly up and down, and it felt really stiff. Basically, the only way that I could fly up or down was by adjusting my camera angle. So like if I'm dashing around, obviously with Xenoverse 2, pretty easy. You could kind of freely just go up and down as you're flying around, regardless of whether you're locked on or not. In Xenoverse 3, however, if I was locked onto an opponent, I couldn't really—
yeah, that's kind of stupid. I hope they change that.
Fly downward. I had to like lock off, use the R stick to move my camera angle up. So basically I would fly in the direction that my camera is facing. So if I had the camera going up, then I could fly down. And if I had the camera going down, then I could fly up. It just felt really weird. I wasn't a huge fan of that. There is a button to ascend. So the X button on PlayStation or Xbox or whatever, I could fly upward. Similar to Xenoverse 2, like you tap X, you could jump up. So that didn't change. But in order to go down, I had to like, if I wasn't locked on, I could either just tap X and then you would just kind of like fall, or I had to do that weird thing with the camera angle, which was interesting. Wasn't a huge fan of that. I'm calling that a con, at least based off of my early impressions. And then our first needs more testing gray area, whatever the section is called, is the UI always being—
oh, he doing it like that. God damn it. You gotta watch this whole video. All right. UI always display. I'm pretty sure you'll be allowed to turn that off
on the screen. So what I mean by that is maybe I have to just get used to it. I will say, obviously, all of the attack instructions and how to play is a demo only thing. This is 99, like this isn't just gonna always be on the screen, this part. But having the L2, R2 thing always on the screen, it's different. It's different from Xenoverse 2 because in Xenoverse 2, you'd have to tap and hold R2, then those attacks would populate onto the screen and you could see them. And when you hear that, you might be like, well, why isn't that just a con? Like, it's kind of ugly. I didn't really think about this, but because of the fact that we have cooldowns in this game, being able to monitor our attacks and like what the cooldown is at a glance instead of having to like tap a button to then check, kind of good, I guess, for a game like this. Like any other game that uses cooldowns, it's always on the screen. So you can always visually see whether or not you have access to that move. But I think it's a gray area because I could really go either way on this. Like maybe if they just made it look a little sleeker, like maybe if it was off more to the side, maybe we just had a customizable option like in this.
I said this in the beginning. I said this game, I guess what this game got, I guess, teased. I think everybody assumed that it's pretty much gonna be like a MMO more than anything. I think don't MMO games usually do that, have the moveset up on the screen. I could be wrong. I'm trying to remember Dragon Ball MMO. See, they did out.
the
I
settings
gotta
to
look at
say,
that.
hey, I don't want this always on my screen, or hey, it's on my screen by default, but maybe I can, turn it off. Something like that. Just give us the freedom to choose how we want this thing to look, I guess. Gray area for now. All right, now we're gonna swing back to the pro section, and this one is more or less cosmetic, but let's face it, a lot of people, when it comes to Dragon Ball games, if it looks cool, you gotta ship it. Transformation animations. Now, for all we know, just the Super Saiyan animation looks cool, and all of the other ones are kind of boring. But all we have access to seeing so far from the demo is Super Saiyan 3, and then obviously the Soul Change, which we'll touch on in this video at some point too. But whether you like the
Soul Change might be a gray area. But like I said, I think it depends. I think that's gonna be like the human race or something like that. But more transformation. I think Xenoverse had like down to every transformation. Is it Super Saiyan 4 transformation in Xenoverse 2? Somebody let me know. I've been trying to get back into Xenoverse 2. I just play it, then stop. Cause I be trying to knock out these single player games. But yeah. If they now you transfer to Super Saiyan 4, well, I think it is. I think it's canon now in that with that DB Daima stuff. I'm curious. Well, I will say this because last time I did live stream Xenoverse 3, not 3, 2. I'm about to get that mixed up. People actually helped me unlock Ultra Instinct. So Ultra Instinct is a transformation. And it looks like, just by looking at it, that Ultra Instinct might be a human race transformation. But I could be wrong. Let's see. That's like first thoughts when I saw these classes. But we'll see. Because like I said, I think I said it a while ago that they want this game to be more balanced so everybody don't pick the same class like we all do at the end of the day.
The Soul Change or not, it's a transformation, and the animation to get to that point does look really good. You can't lie. Going Super Saiyan looks amazing. It's a direct reference to Vegeta going Super Saiyan against Broly, where the hair turned greenish first, and then it went yellow. It looks amazing. Then it cuts to the top down camera view, like when Goku went Super Saiyan. I don't know. It just looks really dope. Can't deny it. I mean, there's not much I need to say about this. And then Super Saiyan 3, you see the actual hair growing. Absolutely amazing. The transformation animations, that's a plus. Our next con, and by the way, these are not in any particular order. Like, I'm not saying like the first pro's the best of the best and the last pro's the worst of the worst. It's in random order. Next con is also touching on the UI, and that's going to be the stamina bar location and the overall UI as a whole. I know we already talked a little bit about like being able to toggle on or off whether our attacks pop up on the screen and stuff like that. I definitely prefer the stamina to be up by the health bar. I think it's a much easier eye grab. It's easier to just take a quick glance at.
I agree with
always
that.
Having to look at your character, but then you're always monitoring your cooldowns and stuff like that. I didn't like the
that's weird. I don't know why they did like that.
Stamina bar placement. And if they did stick with some form of that, hopefully, again, it's just something customizable. Like if the players want to have our stamina up by the health bar, we should be able to choose that. We should be able to just like manually be able to toggle where we want it. Just give us the freedom to decide where we want that stamina bar to be located. I don't think
And it looks like it disappears too. They should keep on. I don't know. Let's continue. When I saw the gameplay, it's like you won't see it unless you actually start using it. What it looks like.
hate it on the opponent, at least for fodder enemies. But when it comes to monitoring my own stamina, especially in particular instances, like if you're way below your opponent and they're way above you and you're, arena fighters get these weird camera angles sometimes, and having to monitor your stamina in those moments might be a little tricky. So I'm going to put that as a con for now. I think this could be better, and not to mention the numbers popping up. I don't know how I feel about that. But again, I think just give us settings. A lot of cool settings where we can just customize the game to look the way we want it to look. Our next gray area / needs more testing, transformations healing. So when I first saw this, I was just going to put this in the cons. Like I did not like the idea of transformations healing.
Wait, what?
It just felt weird. It felt, obviously way different from Xenoverse. It felt like the thank you Dragon Balls Z.
Oh, you get health back. What?
Soul from or Super Soul from Xenoverse 2, throw an ult and then get their health back. Like now you just transform and get your health back. However, the only reason it's in the gray area is because, contrary to popular belief, I didn't know these people existed that much either. But there is a big PvE base who never touches.
I should talk about that.
Just PvP. So I'm anti.
That's what I said. I said this game is. I technically played this game for PvP, like because it's like an MMO at the end of the day. Because this is coming from a person that was playing, like, I guess, the Spark Zero, like, Tekaishi games. That's my single PvP games. But like I said before, there is a whole community that play this for PvP.
This feature when it comes to PvP. Think about it. When we played Xenoverse 2, we would always toggle, or at least most of the PvP heads, we would toggle off the ability to use capsules to heal ourselves and stuff.
But I will say this though, because when you do play PvP, I think the 4v4 PvP might be actually good in Xenoverse 3. It got potential to actually be really, really good PvP. I really never played this for PvP. I think I understand why. I do know why people actually do play for PvP, because you'll create a character, you want to show off your created character, I guess you could say.
stuff like that. Like, no, run it. Your health is what your health is. My health is what my health is. You know, let's fight. No healing, no senzu beans, which is why in PvP, I would put this more towards the con side. But in PvE, I could see this as a viable function to like heal ourselves because yes, this is a demo, so we don't know for sure, but I don't know if we're going to have access to like healing items mid-match anymore. Then this might be their way to supplement that by having us be able to heal whenever we transform. I have to understand that I'm coming from the bias of a PvP guy, so I don't want to like just put words in the mouths of, you know, a bunch of people who played PvE only. And the reason why I know these people existed is because I think one of the rarest trophies in Xenoverse 2 was play an online match, which is crazy. I don't know the exact percentage, but there's a lot of people who just play the story mode. They just play parallel quests. They never touched an online match. It shocked me too, but they're out there. So PvE has
like myself.
Transformation healing. Our next pro is going to be
like myself, but like I said before, like 4v4 might be potentially actually be good. Might be good in this game.
The quest gameplay loop. This one's a little iffy because we don't have a lot of information just yet as it pertains to how all of the quests are going to look. But one of the most boring things to me in my personal Xenoverse 2 lifetime was having to grind parallel quests to like unlock moves and stuff like that. So anything that adds a spark makes those a little more fun.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. I've been a hit and miss. It calls you to play the damn same quest multiple times. You got to defeat a certain character in a certain amount of time, or beat a character in a certain order to trigger another sequence just to get a better ranking. Like that got annoying, but. Like I said, the last time I actually played the game online, I was getting carried. So most likely I'm probably gonna get carried. I was getting carried with the overpowered Xenoverse characters. Cause like I said, I put this game down, they really played it until like recently, like I think last month.
Is a welcome for me because I was thinking about it. If this Xenoverse 3 demo or whatever was transported into Xenoverse 2, basically they stayed on one map, they fought like a few random sets of enemies and then a boss, right? In Xenoverse 2, all this would have been was like you load into the ice map, a wave of Nabanas and raspberries appear, you kill them. And then another wave of them appear with like one, or like I guess it was robots in this one, but a bunch of little robots appear, you kill them, okay. And then another wave comes in, you kill them, okay. And then Broly flies in, and then you gotta fight Broly. You know what I mean? You just wait for the waves and waves of enemies to come in. In this, you're going from like point to point to point. It's like mission areas, you're going from point to point, fighting the little enemies, the little mob, going on to the next set, fighting the little enemies, the mob, okay, and then fighting the next set, and then like you make your way, you're traversing through the map to get to the boss area to fight Broly. I thought
it do feel like it's gonna be the maps are a little bigger, but like I said, let me wait because this is first impressions. This is only like I guess the first. This is clearly the first build.
That was pretty cool. I think that has a lot of potential, especially with other maps, other enemies, when you're playing with your homies, with your friends and stuff like that, having to go to different mission points. I think that's a pro for me, but let me know what you guys think down below. And again, we have no idea. Maybe this is the only one that looks like this. We'll have to see how other quests look if they're similar. My next con, and this one is kind of big to me. Loss of attack slots, such as the evasive and a second ultimate attack. In Xenoverse 2, you had a separate category where you could access your transformations, you could access your evasives, and it didn't interfere with your 4 super attacks and your 2 ultimates. In Xenoverse 3, however, it looks like our evasive is going to have to take the place of one of our 4 super attacks. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that. I found that having those 4 attacks were the sweet spot for me when it came to Xenoverse 2 at least. 4 attacks, and then you pick an evasive that's separate from those 4 attacks. I don't want my evasive to take up one of those slots, or like, God forbid I forget to put an evasive on and I only have like, you know, damaging attacks and then I just don't have an evasive. I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of that. I guess it could be something that I could adapt to.
I don't know. See, okay, I agree with that. That's how I felt with the power-up system. Like, yeah, they equipped a power-up where you could charge. That's the only thing I probably didn't like either. Let's continue watching.
I know a lot of people hate when I say stuff like that, but I'm just genuinely an open mind when it comes to a lot of these games. I don't just go into things negatively. Like, this one is a con for me, don't get me wrong. And then let's talk about the second ultimate. Obviously, in Xenoverse 2, you had 2 ultimates to pick from. That added a lot of cool versatility depending on the situation. Like, you could have one ultimate be a super explosive way for like close quarters combat. You could have a second ultimate be like, you know, a long range attack. It just depended on how you wanted to build your moveset, or you could combo one ult into another ult. There was a lot of cool things that you could do with having 2 ultimates. But now when you hit L2, you only have access to 1 ultimate attack, and the second ultimate attack is replaced by having an assist feature where you could call in your assist to, like, you know, help you extend a combo or something. Very similar to fighters when you call in an assist to extend a combo. Just give us, again, the free, I'm gonna say this a lot probably throughout this video, just give us the ability to choose. Like, if we want 2 ultimates instead of having the assist, let us do that. Or maybe just let us have a different menu that accesses 2 ultimates and we don't have to sacrifice the assist. I don't know. I don't think we should lose the ability to have 2 ults, because I personally liked having 2 ults. I liked having my evasive in a different slot. So this one's gonna be under con at the moment. Next one's gonna be in the gray area, and for a lot of people, I understand this is just a con right off the bat. This is just my opinion. It's gray area. It could be a con, it could be a pro, depending on how they move forward. The transformation timer. Look, I get it. In Xenoverse 2,
yeah, okay, this is what I actually curious about.
Super Saiyan. You ain't never got to worry about losing Super Saiyan again unless you like get KO'd or something like that, which I never complained about. I was okay with that. I like that in Xenoverse 2. In Xenoverse 3, obviously, there's a time. Now, it's in gray area for me because if it's locked at 60 seconds forever and there's nothing you can do about it ever, then I'm not a fan of this. This would probably be under con for me. However, Xenoverse was always about upgrading your character, making your character stronger, doing certain missions that would unlock a certain transformation, or doing a certain training, giving Whis a snack so you could like get higher levels.
RPG,
you're trying to grow your
RPG
character, boost your attributes, all this, all that. If we could access the ability to boost that timer, because keep in mind, ranked matches, and it drove me crazy because I felt like 3 minutes wasn't enough a lot. I hated timeouts. Ranked matches were only 3 minutes long. So if we could boost that timer to get to like, and this is just an example, I'm just throwing this at the wall here, not saying this is perfect, but if we could get that timer by end game to like 2 minutes and 30 seconds or something like that, you're pretty much going to be transformed the entire time. Now, I know for PvE heads, maybe that's not enough, because if we have to have the timer, I think at least give us the ability to upgrade it, give us some agency over this, or hell, maybe by the end of the game, we can remove the timer altogether, like we master the form, basically do the Cell Games 10-day challenge or something, like when Goku stayed Super Saiyan for the 10 days before the Cell Games, something similar to that.
I feel like that's gonna be a thing in Xenoverse 3 this. All right, damn, I lost my train of thought. I actually do have something to say, and I forgot. It'll come back to me.
To get us to master it, I don't know. Then it could be a flex like, oh, you already ran out of steam. My Super Saiyan still has double the amount of time that you have, or something like that. Like you're fighting somebody and then they haven't mastered Super Saiyan yet. I think that could be fun. That could be a cool feature. It really just depends on how they move from here. But I do want to preface this with this, and we're gonna get into the soul change stuff. I promise you, just lock in. But keep in mind, we have to pick between.
Oh yeah, timer. Okay, I remember now. But yeah, I said it before. I think I said it a while ago. I said they try to make it more balanced. That's like the only reason I can see why they put in the timer on these classes. I'm pretty sure that soul change thing, with I guess with the human race, it's gonna be on a timer. Also, that's what it looks like. I'm pretty sure Orange Piccolo is gonna be a thing. Wait, Orange Piccolo turned buff and big. They probably make like a medium version, like a medium Orange Piccolo, I guess you could say, because that's clearly like his transformation. I know he gonna have a transformation. The Frieza race gonna have like the golden Frieza, and hopefully the Frieza black, which I think is gonna be DLC in years time. All right, there's another race. Is it the Boo race also? Okay. Yeah, I actually do agree. Get rid of that timer. But like I said, I think it's gonna be a method where you can probably just upgrade it. Once you upgrade to enough, they're probably gonna make you get rid of the timer. I could be wrong, but like I said, I'm pretty sure they're trying to make it more balanced so everybody don't pick the same class. 'Cause I think they look at the statistics of all this stuff in Xenoverse 2 and implement it. But people also talking about that they implemented stuff from Breakers, in which they didn't like.
Super Saiyan or Soul Change, okay? So they're trying to basically balance these two so they're on par with one another. So basically, if we advocate for Super Saiyan to be permanent, then they're gonna be like, well, we have this whole Soul Change thing which needs to be balanced with Super Saiyan. Is Soul Change gonna be permanent too? You know what I mean? So it's kind of a tricky spot for them, unless they just scrap Soul Change altogether. But it's just something to keep in mind, because it's not as simple as just saying like, we're gonna make this permanent. Because if that's permanent, then Soul Change gotta be permanent, and then it's like, are you even playing your CSE when you just change it into another character permanently? I don't know. Or maybe there's a way to resource manage.
Yeah, so because that's the other thing, because people don't want to play as a mainline Dragon Ball Z character. They want to play as the character they created.
To make it last longer. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. That's why it's a gray area for me, because I think there's potential for this to be cool. It just needs to be executed correctly. Next for the pros list, unique raid boss mechanics. So keep in mind, I did not play this game enough for this to maybe be as accurate as I would like it to be. But when Broly against he was a raid boss. When Broly was firing these big blasts all over the place, it felt like there was dang near nothing I could do, okay? In Xenoverse 2, if I step vanish fast enough, I could dodge just about all of those little blasts. In Xenoverse 3, however, I don't know if step vanish is just a little weaker now, but when those hit, they hurt bad and they were unblockable. There wasn't anything that you could really do in terms of like your movement. But what you had to do is find an area on the map where you were hiding behind the glacier, so you could like use that as cover so you're not getting hit by the blast. Now I know that base value seems basic, but I think if they have other raid bosses in the future, like other, Xenoverse 2 had giant characters, I don't know if Xenoverse 3 will or not, but if they have other raid boss mechanics that are kind of like unique, that you need a certain toolkit, and I know Xenoverse 2, like, having super guard was like the go-to for some of these raid bosses depending on who you were. But if they have other cool features that utilize the map assets, then I think that has a lot of potential for growth. So I like that they added that, and that's not the only cool thing that they did with the map stuff, but we'll get to that on our next pro. Next con is, I don't think I was able to grab. I don't think I saw any grab ability. I tried, I wasn't able to really pull it off. I don't know if there's a new way to do it, but grabbing was, with bad netcode, it was pretty annoying. But I mean, it's a fighting game. You have to have a grab. Like, people are just gonna turtle up. They're just gonna block, and there's
I haven't noticed that either.
I think you have to have a grab feature in this game. Maybe super attacks will have like command grab properties and stuff like that. But I do think just as a base, we need to be able to grab. Okay. And again, maybe I missed it. Maybe I missed it. Preface. Maybe I missed it. Maybe this con is worthless and I just didn't figure out how to grab. I don't think I was able to grab. So yeah, that's a con for me. That's scary. Because again, PvP, people block spamming and I can't grab.
These 100% grass would be 6.
That would be crazy though if they don't have a grab mechanic.
Gray area is soul change and soul assist. Again, this is going to be one that a lot of people just say it's a con, it's bad, don't like it, get rid of it. That's what a lot of people are going to say. And here's the secret. I lean towards that for the most part. Because when you boot up Xenoverse, you create your own character, you customize your look, you customize your moveset. You're not thinking like, wow, this would look so much better if I was base Trunks and had a completely different moveset and a completely different outfit. So this is one that I think might end up in the con list, but it's in gray area for now. Because on one hand, I do think the assist is kind of cool, like where you could tag in and extend your combo almost like Dragon Ball Fighter style. I think that has a lot of cool potential. I'm sure all of them are gonna have different unique assists. So on that hand, I think that could have potential. And also, Xenoverse 2, we were always able to make multiple characters. Imagine, I don't know if this is true. I'm just, you know, wish list damn near. But imagine your assist could be another character that you made popping in with an attack, like another CAC that you made. That could be really cool. I doubt it.
Or it allows you to carry over your character from the other Xenoverse games. So your created character could carry over to Xenoverse 3. That's too much potential. It'd be kind of hard to pull off though.
There's potential. But when it comes to the soul change itself, I try to walk into things with an optimistic
Yeah, it'd be kind
perspective.
of hard because the DLC characters and all the movesets and stuff, they got to carry over to the new game. And you know a lot of this stuff probably won't be in the base game because it'll probably be DLC later down the road.
And because I do that, a lot of people think that I'm just a glazer. Like, no, bro, you got to be more pessimistic. You got to be more negative. Nah, bro, that's a lame way to live. But I try to see the bright side. There was always the complaint of, you know, certain characters not having as many transformations as Saiyans, for example. Saiyans, we have
Like I said,
Super Saiyan, we have Super Vegeta.
I think I said this on his tweet that they try to make this game more balanced.
We have future Super Saiyan. We had Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue. We had Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. So I think their idea for this is like, okay, like your character can literally turn into whoever you want. I get why, because you want to give them more, you know, flexibility and freedom. But I don't think this is the way to do that. I think you just gotta, you know, get in your creative bag a little bit when it comes to the Earthlings or other races that aren't Saiyans. So yeah, I'll slot it into gray area with like a leniency towards con, but I'll give it a little more time. And we'll see where things go. I hinted at this with the last pro, and we'll have to see how much they've done with this, or if this is just like a one-off thing with Broly. But unique animations based off of your location on the map. What do I mean? So we've all seen it a million times. Broly has this grab where he'll like slam you on the ground, boom, 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 Hulk style, and then like, you know, throw you away. However, I was up against the wall when Broly did this, and the animation changed. He grabbed my face, and instead of just throwing me away, he put my face in the wall like he did Goku, and smeared my face through the ice. That's crazy. That's really, I don't know. Maybe, am I too excited? That's dope. Because that just makes me think of how many other moves did they do that with? You know what I mean? Like now it's like you got to test moves in the center of the map, and then you also have to test moves over on the side on the map to see if something else happens. Or maybe things happen differently when you're at the top of the map versus when you're at the bottom of the map. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of different characters that have cool moves that could interact with the map differently depending on where you're at. So I think this one has a lot of potential. I was really happy to see it. I thought it was really cool. I don't know. I'm just excited to see how they expand upon that and what they do with that. All right, that was pro number 5. Here's con number 5. And again, maybe I didn't figure out how to do it, but no double homing dash. What that is, or at least that's what I call it. I don't even know if that's what it's supposed to be called, but the ability to like quickly loop around your opponent. Let's say, for example, in Xenoverse 2, Xenoverse 2 heads know what I'm talking about. They're charging up an ultimate. You could double homing dash, loop right behind them, and then break their stamina. Or if they weren't doing that, you could just, you know, knock them back. I wasn't able to figure out how to do that. Maybe there's a way.
I was thinking Sparking Zero for some reason. I know people do that line Sparking Zero.
To do that, but I think also just being able to like close the gap easier than just using the boost chase every single time is something that I think
Speaking
is
of
important.
Sparking Zero, I gotta jump back into that game. I think the DLC supposed to be coming out. I haven't touched that game at all after a while. I wonder that game's still toxic in the comment section when people send you messages and stuff. Because Sparking Zero was toxic as hell. Especially before they patch everything.
Especially if we get to the point where people are.
Because I was being a troll also. I did have some videos on there and people send me some very hateful messages on my PlayStation. That shit was hella funny. I think I still got it. I don't think I deleted it.
Stamina off of those. I probably should have tested that, but Broly kind of had, you know, I don't know, he was a raid boss. I just didn't think I could do it. I should have tried that. But yeah, that was kind of the go-to to like check people for, you know, spamming ultimates and stuff like that. So I think that's something that's a little scary if we're not able to do that. But we'll have to see how that plays out. Maybe we'll just have to do it the old-fashioned way, Xenoverse 1 style, just dodge it, make sure you're close, and then charge it or something like that. But we'll see. It's on cons for now because losing mobility when we're trying to take the next step in the evolution, not usually a good. Next gray area is going to be the key break, stamina break thing in general. So as you guys know, in Xenoverse 2, you could just break people's stamina, okay? You would just do the stamina break after a combo. And I actually had a lot of fun with that. I had fun when a new character was released and you would have to like learn the combo route and figure out where to like place the stamina break so it would actually connect properly. I thought that was a lot of fun every time they dropped the character to like discover that. But now it is a little more simplified. It's a little more dumbed down where it's similar to like a Souls game or like a God of War where you just have to continuously hit your opponent until their stamina depletes down to 0 and then they get their stamina broken. So there's no intricate combo or anything like that that forces it. You just have to like keep fighting and then eventually.
Well, it's hot as hell. I got the AC
on.
on.
So Xenoverse 2 brain.
I'm about to say that, yeah, I just realized, bro, it's still hot outside. It'd be like, first off, we're in a heat wave this week, apparently, so I gotta keep this damn AC on most of the day.
kind of breaking my head, but same functionality where they're basically vulnerable.
I got the fan on the
like
background.
Animation and punish them for.
I need to grab some
It's
more
in
water.
gray area because it felt okay in PvE. I did have to adjust my muscle memory to like get used to monitoring my own stamina because if it got low and then I got punched like twice, then my key would be broken. But against the fodder enemies, it felt fine. It felt rewarding. I didn't have to do any intricate thing to break their stamina. I was just keep punching them and then they die. And they're fodder enemies, so it's like who cares? But I think in PvP this would lean the wrong way for me, but I haven't played PvP. And honestly, just like my opinions with the Xenoverse 3 demo, until I've experienced it and played it, it's really hard for me to have a concrete opinion one way or another. I don't love the sound of it at first glance, but for all I know, I play against somebody and it's actually really fun, like managing that resource and like trying to keep my stamina up, trying to beat them up, keep the pressure on until they get their key broken and stuff like that. I don't know, maybe it could be cool, but I just don't know yet. So that's why I have to slot it in gray area for now, but we'll see where it goes. Another pro, this one also leans towards the cosmetic side, just a lot more customization options. I think the customization options
That's
have
obvious.
already shown itself to be on a whole other level than Xenoverse 2, cosmetically, and then also a lot of things in game, although we have lost some things in game that we've talked about. But in game, for example, instead of all characters just fighting like their race, like, oh, I'm a Saiyan, so I fight like this, kick, 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 or the male Earthling, the square triangle route, and then the hey-ya. Basically, you knew exactly what the combos were gonna look like for every single character as long as you understood what race they were. In Xenoverse 3, however, you can choose how your character fights, like his combo animations, his combo routes and stuff like that. So that's really cool, and I haven't even touched on all the customization thing is so broad. Body sizes, we have been confirmed, and again, for lack of better words, you could be a fat dude. We've seen Tap, you could be like a tiny little guy, and I don't know if we can build a guy that looks exactly like the friend in the trailer, but this guy looked like a buff Rick sort of build. So I think that's really exciting that you can potentially create your character to look like any of these. But I don't know, either way, more body sizes, because in Xenoverse 2, it was just skinny, slightly wider version of the skinny guy, and then widest version of skinny guy. It wasn't really any variance when it came to the aesthetics of how your body looked. And I think this is just a drop in the ocean compared to how much more we have yet to see when it comes to customization. But so far from what I've seen, I'm excited when it comes to creating and being able to make the most unique character that doesn't look the exact same as these other guys in the future. So that's a pro. Next con is gonna just be beams after follow-ups. In Xenoverse 2, and even in Sparking, when you do a knockback, that was kind of like the arena fighter brain would turn on and be like, okay, I did a knockback, I gotta be able to fire a beam afterward. Like you knock him back and then launch a beam at least that's where my brain goes. But in Xenoverse 3, it felt a little weird. I hope this is just a demo thing because I would knock them back and like sometimes they would go upward and my guy would just fire the beam forward. So he would basically be locked on to firing the beam at where the opponent was when I started.
Okay, I think that's the first build issue.
Started the beam animation, not where they were at after the knockback, if that makes sense. So yeah, they gotta tweak that. My next gray area is gonna be, why did this enemy have super armor when he was launching a super attack? That was weird. That was weird. That was strange. Why
regular enemy?
It's in gray area because I don't know if this is a one-off
It might be a level assist. Back because you on their level. All right, y'all on par.
thing. I don't know if this works for all super attacks. I've experienced it literally that one time. And I think for some enemies, it probably would be okay. Like if it's like a raid boss or something, or like a big guy, so we can't just like mindlessly just keep swinging. I don't know. It could add some difficulty factor to it, I guess. But for fodder enemies, yeah, if this was all fodder enemies and it's all super attacks on every fodder enemy that I should be able to just blow up and destroy, then yeah, this would be a con. But I say it needs more testing because I really have to see where else it's applied, how it's applied, and like what the logic is.
I think it's because the level aim.
God forbid if this is a PvP thing. If in PvP we have super armor when we're launching super attacks, God help us all when somebody finds key explosion or something. I don't know. That's. I'm not gonna lie. My last pro was customizable combo strings. I accidentally mixed it with the other customization options. I was just gonna talk about like the cosmetic customization options on that last point, but I ended up tying in the custom combo strings already. So that was the 7th pro that I had. So I'll just make up a different pro. The hub world. The hub world looked really cool. Obviously, there was a lot of invisible walls, so we didn't get to see all of it, but it looked absolutely massive. Looked like there was a lot of exploring that I could do, a lot of character interactions. And again, I'm just throwing this in there just so we have a backup 7th.
You already tell day one server's gonna crash this. When this game first come out, it happened in Xenoverse 1. Servers crashing in Xenoverse 2. I remember that stuff. When these servers crash when the game first comes out. So be expect not to really jump online right away when the servers usually crash. Unless they fixed it. But that's almost like 10 years ago. I appreciate they have way more servers. They definitely have more of a budget because how big Dragon Ball Z is.
Pro. I'm not gonna lie, accidentally mixed the 2 pros together on that last one, so that's the last of the pros for now. Last of the cons isn't that big of a deal, but it annoyed me. There's no ultimate indicator, and what I mean by that is normally when your opponent was about to do like a really big move, they would have a slide on the side of the screen where their face would pop up, basically indicating like, hey, this guy's about to do something big, watch out, sort of thing. And it was like a quick visual cue to kind of like tell you, go break his stamina, get ready to dodge, get ready to block, whatever the situation may be, just watch out. Against Broly, he would fire these ults and you didn't really get indication that he was gonna do that, or like he would go into like these different phases and modes where, there was one indication where like it would cut to him like yelling before he'd pop all over the screen. But before he launched his big ult, I think it would just be cool to reintroduce or keep that slide in from the old Xenoverse games. I don't think there's any reason to take that out. I would put that back in. And our final gray area is just gonna be cooldowns in general. I've seen the comments, and trust me, I liked how Xenoverse 2 worked. Like, it wasn't perfect, don't get me wrong. There was the ability to abuse some certain things, abuse the string of moves over and over and over again. But I don't think it was too bad to the point where they needed to, like, get rid of the ability to do that altogether. Basically, a lot of people have been saying resource management is greater than timer. or cooldowns. And I completely understand where you guys are coming from because, again, you're talking to one of the biggest Xenoverse 2 fans ever. I never stopped playing the game, so you don't have to convince me. While I am open-minded to the cooldown thing in general, I do think I would have to play this with PvP. Like, a lot of these things in the gray area are specifically in the gray area because I don't know what this looks like in PvP. It's hard for me to say. Or balanced experience for PvP. Key canceling doesn't seem nearly as prevalent. It didn't really make anything on this list, but it didn't seem like it was as strong. Maybe cooldowns will prevent some of the mindless spamming. Despite this theoretical balance, no one wants it to be at the expense of their creative expression in combat. What made Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2's PvP so beloved by so many people was that very creative expression and freedom. Unique combo lines where you can see which super attacks blended with other super attacks and like chained together perfectly. That you would have no idea worked until somebody hit you with. Builds to go online. The boost chase turn into? What moves are going to look different on the ground versus on the side that is going to alter the way that we build our combos based off of where we're fighting our opponent and where we're trying to like knock their body over to. The customization features, the way we're able to create our own unique combos depending on which character's combos.
Okay, I'm curious about this. All I'm gonna say is that I think they definitely trying to make this game with their tissues, making it more balanced. Because, like I said, the same class is probably gonna have all the transformations, so they trying to make it more balanced with all this extra stuff. But I'll say he probably wait. Yeah, you know, some of Dragon Ball's catchphrase. Yeah, I'm kind of curious what he's gonna do with the Dragon Ball section of this game. I'm the PvP only guy, and I ain't ashamed. That's why I say I play Xenoverse solely for PvP. I said PvP, PvE, but them adding 4 characters now instead of 3, gonna have more potential of the PvP might actually be worth playing. I guess you could say worth playing or have more modes in PvP, like some Battle of Z stuff, but actually make it good in Battle of Z. Like have 2 teams of 4 go around the same map, see who get the highest score, or take out the raid boss first or something like that. Like get more creative with that, not just do 4v4 against each other, which I prefer to do that too. Because like I said, I actually one of the very few people that actually enjoyed Battle of Z in terms of the co-op aspect of the game, which I think that's like one of the main reasons why they probably got inspired making Xenoverse. Cause we need to be more co-op DBZ games. All right, but like I said before, I never really played PvP in Xenoverse because it's come from a person that played Tekahishi in the Sparking Zero games, so that's where I usually play my PvP at. But yeah, I'm gonna say this: we definitely need to see more. Apparently, this game supposed to be coming out next year. I don't know when. I know these Dragon Ball Z games usually tend to come out the first quarter of the year, if I remember correctly. Matter of fact, look that up real quick. I'm wrong. I just remember being cold when the game came out, but Xenoverse 2 came out October 25th in 2016. Compared to Xenoverse 1. I said one of these games came out in goddamn February. Yeah, Xenoverse 1 came out February 25th. Wait, damn! Xenoverse was released February 2015. And 2 came out 2016. Well, no, Xenoverse was originally 2016. Wait. This game came out a year later. So Xenoverse 1 is pretty much like, it's like what they did with Destiny and Destiny 2. The idea, they fixed the ideas, here's the real game. And the game began support for like 10 years ever since. Man, that's crazy. I didn't know that. A year apart. A year or 2 apart. That is crazy. It's maybe because, damn. And they fixed a lot of the mechanics in Xenoverse 2. That's crazy. Now I'm thinking about it. Y'all could just look it up. It's right here. But yeah. That's the video reaction to the video. Like I said, I'm actually curious to see more. They're going to show more because that clearly looked like the first build of the game. And I said it before that they making this game with the intention to be more balanced. Like I said, I'm more PvP. I keep saying that PvE type of person for these Xenoverse games than PvP. But I am curious about the PvP section in this game though. But like I said, we need to see more.